Coming from a social housing background, I mean, I was there for 3 years, but we actually adopted CORGI Technical Services services, in a sense, to carry out electrical auditing. So I was very familiar with the process and things to look out for. When joining CORGI Technical Services, I applied that into my role to assist other organisations. There was nothing that kind of drew me to the electrical sector. I actually enrolled to study law at college. At what point I just kind of decided that route wasn't for me. My dad was a construction manager for a large organisation and put the proposal of perhaps being an electrician, and that's what I chose. So I went down that path and kind of never looked back. One piece of advice I would give would be to listen more at college, I would say. The college route was almost seen as a day off from the actual practical element, but nowadays I realise how important that element is to the electrical industry. Obviously, giving technical advice and consultancy myself, it's something that I'm wildly interested in now. However, back then it was almost not so much that. The most rewarding part would be obviously helping to provide warm, safe homes, giving that technical advice to people that are after it, and keeping in the know within the industry and sharing that knowledge. To provide a warm, safe home to the world out there really is really important. The safety aspect of it is something that I'm really got kind of passion for, and the figures show within the electrical industry. There's around 3 fires a day within domestic electrical fires. It wildly outnumbers gas, although a lot of people seem to be frightened of gas, whereas electrical statistics show that it's almost more dangerous in that aspect. I think the ignorance to electrical safety would be I mean, we're only just catching up now with the legislation in terms of social housing. That's obviously come in for the maximum frequency of 5 years. That's been a long time coming, so I think that's put it on the back foot almost. The gas element has been in for numerous years now, that legislation. So I think that is one of the struggles. Also, I think people are under the mindset that if it works, it's okay. So that has a DIY element. A lot of people, like tenants and such like, seem to dabble within DIY within the electrical industry, thinking it works, it's fine. But unfortunately, electricity can be dangerous. You can't see it until the unimaginable happens, really. CORGI can help with the upcoming legislation by providing consultancy to all of our clients. Any questions you may have around the legislation, we are in the industry. We can, if we don't know the answer, we can source that information and get that for you. But essentially, it's to do with the private rented legislation from 2022, mirroring into that social housing legislation, and everything does apply within that. So any questions that we do have, we can source. I think the biggest challenge, and I'm sure everybody hears this in terms of administering electrical safety, will be your access arrangements. I think one of the things that is often overlooked from experience is that a lot of people don't seem to let you in to carry out your EICR, your inspection and testing, because they don't see a benefit to them. I've had numerous tenants in my position at my previous company that didn't want you to access because perhaps they've waited on certain repairs, such as if they've had a shower that's not been working, an electric shower, and that's not been repaired in the time frame that they see fit. They're almost reluctant to let you in for, if you're essentially saying, well, you need this condition report, they're almost put on the back foot straight away. And that is one thing that I would say was it needs improving, I suppose, that tenant engagement. competent person in electrical would be a skilled person. That's the definition in BS 7671, somebody that's got adequate training, knowledge, qualifications to carry out that task, and experience, probably the number one key. I think one of the most unsafe situations I've seen on site, and I know it's quite relevant in the industry today, is reverse polarity on a meter. We have people that carry out meter installations that perhaps not come through the same level of as an electrician in terms of experience. It's at the end of the day, it's a 4-year apprenticeship to become an electrical engineer, and I know that certain meter operatives probably don't sit that amount of knowledge and experience to be able to carry that out. And yeah, it's a couple of occurrences I've seen where reverse polarity has been a big issue. To cut down on the DIY that's involved in the electrical industry. Screwfix and B&Q make things so readily available to Joe Blogs on the public and walk in and purchase a consumer unit, for example. I think there needs to be a slight higher level of authority, maybe to show that person is competent to be purchasing that product. I think that would lead away from a lot of DIY installations, which in a sense can be really unsafe. I'm a big music advocate. I love going to gigs. I try to go to gigs at least 2 times a month. I've got a real passion for music in that sense. And I actually quite enjoy playing with Lego. Whether that's by myself or with my kids, I enjoy Lego as well. Biggest Lego set would be the Millennium Falcon that I did with my son. The one thing that excites me the most is low carbon technologies, solar PV, electrical energy storage systems, electrical vehicle charging. I think it's a really exciting time to be an electrician now. So many electricians, it was, I grew up in the apprenticeship where it's sockets, lights, very basic. And now we've all of a sudden, been catapulted into this wild industry where we're fitting renewable energy sources, and yeah, it's a really exciting time to be an electrician. With the influx of these low carbon technologies, we're forever kind of keep track and keep pace with them. There's going to be a large influx of things like vehicle to grid and vehicle to home, which is going to bring its own complications in itself, where you have your vehicle providing electricity to your own home or back to the grid. There could be some real issues when it comes to things like earthing arrangements and a lot of things to consider with that big aspect.